college cinema department for over 20 years. I perform what are known as non-instructional duties, which is something that almost all adjunct faculty do, besides teaching, of course. When I perform those duties, I am in the cinema department issue room. My official title when I'm performing these duties is lab monitor. Some of the things that the lab monitor does is to oversee the lab aides, who are students in the cinema department who also work for a few hours in the issue room every week. They are paid, of course. Some of the things that we do is to check out equipment, to check in equipment, to maintain our equipment, to assist students when they are working in the cinema department in the digital labs. There is always something to do in the issue room. Check inventory, make sure our web checkout system is working correctly, that all the students are in our system, that equipment that is to be repaired is taken out of the system. The issue room itself often needs maintenance. We have a tremendous amount of equipment for a small department, and we must always constantly make sure that it is in operating order. So there is always something to do in a typical lab monitor shift. I very much like working in the issue room. I enjoy being in this environment. I've been interested in making motion pictures for many, many years. I like being around these students. As I said, the entire environment is invigorating and motivating, and I very much enjoy working in our department. I was originally hired by Dick Ham, who was the department chair at that time. I knew Dick from the time when I was a student in the department. He had taught several classes that I had enrolled in. I also worked for Dick. He was an independent filmmaker, and there were several times when I worked for him on his projects outside of the cinema department. He encouraged me to apply for a position as adjunct faculty, and I did so, and I was hired. I'm planning on retiring sometime within the next 2 years, although that's not written in cement. I may retire earlier, I may retire later. I have not yet made that decision. The one thing that I do know is that when I do retire, I will most definitely miss the cinema department, because I think it's a great resource for so many students. The tuition is certainly more than affordable these days, and we have an outstanding faculty. It's really an outstanding program, and I know that I'll miss the program, I'll miss my coworkers, and I will miss the students.
I'm Diana Reddy. I'm running for City Council in Redwood City, November 2018. I'm running for City Council because I have been an advocate for a variety of issues over the years. When I worked for the Sequoia Union High School District as the administrative assistant for the superintendent, I was an advocate for teachers as well as students and their families. And children's health, access to education, and now access to affordable housing, which is really critical in our community. What makes it possible for me is the reminder that this is not my campaign. This is the community's campaign. This is our having a seat at the table. The community is coming to the table in 2018. We are beginning with a launch on Monday, March 19th, 7 o'clock at Main and Elm. Redwood City is ready for ready. Redwood City is ready for our community.
Diego Rivera established the Mexican mural movement that helped inspire both American and Mexican art movements. Diego Rivera was born in 1886 in Guanajuato, Mexico. By the age of 6, his mother Maria and father Diego had noticed his skill as an illustrator. When he was 10 years old, he was studying at the Academy of Arts of San Carlos in Mexico City. And at 21, he traveled to Madrid to study painting in Europe. It was there that he first was inspired by the modern works of Pablo Picasso, but he was also inspired by the Renaissance frescoes of Da Vinci and Michelangelo. It was here in Europe where he was first introduced to the political philosophy of Karl Marx and the Communist Party. Rivera stated that he believed that the role of the artist was to be a soldier in the revolution. Upon his return to Mexico, he let these very same ideas inspire his work. Influenced by the Mexican Revolution and fellow artists such as Jose Clemente, Rivera became one of the founders of the Mexican mural movement. Created for government and public buildings, Rivera's work centered around the history and culture of Mexican people. Using vibrant colors and expressionist style, Rivera's work focused on national, cultural, and social identity. This contrasts the work of Frida Kahlo, whose portraits were often very personal and autobiographical. Although Rivera was married many times, his relationship with Kahlo was the longest. They were married for the first time in 1929 in Mexico, and then married again in 1940 in San Francisco after a brief divorce. One of Rivera's most famous works is the Pan-American Unity mural. The work was commissioned for the Golden Gate International Expo for the Artists in Action exhibit. The entire painting is made up of 10 separate panels, and altogether is 77 feet long and 22 feet tall. It took Rivera 8 months to paint all of it. On the left side of the work, you will see the art of pre-Columbian Mesoamerican craftsmen. You will also find American presidents and both American and Mexican revolutionaries. He also depicts his wife as she paints. On the right side of the painting, you will see the power and promise of American technology and industry. But also within the painting, you will find the terrors of fascism and war. This part of the image was considered controversial at the time because it was before the United States had entered into the Second World War. Rivera once said, "I believe in order to make an American art, a real American art, this will be necessary. This blending of the art of the Indian, the Mexican, the Eskimo, with the kind of urge that makes the machine, the creation of the material side of life, which is also the artistic urge, the same urge primarily, but a different type of artistic expression." Rivera and the Mexican mural movement became one of the first major American artistic movements and laid the groundwork for other American artistic movements. If you wish to see the Pan-American Unity mural for yourself, it was created for San Francisco City College and lives in its Diego Rivera Theater.
سمع اليوم خوفك ولازم تتربى والواحد ما يشوفك ولا تبصبا باش تحفظ النيل خايف ما يشبعوك شمسة حط عليك العين كنت كتير محضر ماشي قوي تدرع باش تكون تتصدر وبكلامهم تفرح عرفت باش تكبر ودير حوايج تجناح كي تخدم وتكبر على الخير اللي تمناه مش شايف في الباطل وبنادم دون وخير سامي يحب الوطن اللي عنده ذات ولا عريس كنت خطر كيف انا العزيز صحاب في البحر خاطر ما تخليها بالويس نمشي غرب الرهبة هكا تغنى الارهاب عمرك اللعبة يلعب بينا كيما يحاب نقولو فن يفرق الناس سالحان كل شوية سمع اليوم خوفك ولازم تتربى والواحد ما يشوفك ولا ضربة سما باش تحفظ الليل خايف يشبعو شمسة حطو عليك العين خلاف كل شوية سمع اليوم خوفك ولازم تتربى والواحد ما يشوفك ولا ضربة سما باش تحفظ الليل خايف يشبعو شمسة حطو عليك العين خلاف كل شوية سمع اليوم خوفك ولازم تتربى والواحد ما يشوفك باش تحفظ الليل خايف يشبعك شمسة حطو عليك العين خلايا نفوت شوية سمع اليوم خوفك ولازم تتخبى من واحد ما يشوفك ولا تبصبة باش تحفظ الليل خايف يشبعك شمسة حطو عليك العين جي من باسيل يخوفوا فينا عيطونا سفنجة شيك سفنجة
You won't like it at first, but when you get used to it, you'll really hate it.
Well, it's not the kind of place you'd like to be, with thoughts of hatred shaping reality. For all ultimate violence, you always say, not the
The Dream by Edna St. Vincent Millay. Love, if I weep it will not matter, and if you laugh I shall not care. Foolish am I to think about it, but it is good to feel you there. Love, in my sleep I dreamed of waking. White and awful the moonlight reached over the floor, and somewhere, there was a shutter loose. It screeched, swung in the wind, and no wind blowing. I was afraid and turned to you, put out my hand to you for comfort, and you were gone. Cold, cold as dew under my hand the moonlight lay. Love, if you laugh I shall not care, but if I weep it will not matter. Ah, it is good to feel you there.
And thanks, Kim, for that story on global warming, which, as you know, I believe is a total myth. Thursday, we're looking at 109 degrees. Friday, up to 121. And Saturday, moving on up to 143. And closing out the weekend on Sunday with 210 degrees. That's all for this.
you.